one of Ryung versus KeeN. Yeah, sorry for the downtime. I went to go to the toilet and get a new drink, and then there's someone in the toilet for ages, and they're still in the toilet, and eventually I just gave up and came back. So I still need the toilet. Is the moral of this story is that some people take forever in the toilet. What I don't get is the toilet, like, they flush the toilet, and then like a minute and a half later, they're still in the toilet. Like, I was really confused. It's been a stressful break for me, I've got to say. Guys, welcome back. It's going to be Ryung versus KeeN here as we continue on through this group. Been trying to keep you guys updated with what's going on as we go. It's kind of tough to keep up to date with all of this while adminning it myself and so on. Just the OSC admins couldn't be here today. Don't forget though, if you're enjoying the games today, we're back Sunday and Monday with the playoffs of this event featuring Snoot, Cham, Neeb, Uthermal, Penguin, Alive. It's a pretty great lineup, so look forward to that. That will be coming up on Sunday and Monday. Looking forward to it myself. We'll have a little bit of a look at that bracket later on. And obviously, we'll be able to fill in some of the gaps of the bracket, the final gaps of the bracket, as we do figure out the final results of this group. To the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player, it is going to be Ryung. Kicking us off in this TvT, taking the 2-over game time there. And to the bottom right-hand side, the green Terran player, it is going to be KeeN. Setting up into this, some TvT actions. We're going to be seeing the factory dropping on down here from KeeN. He's playing the double gas opener, whereas Ryung is going to be looking to fast expand. So the two opposite ends basically of the TvT builds here, the faster expansion base play and the pressure base play. And as we set up into this, so okay, a couple of different ways of going about this. As you see, Reaper's just on the way out from both sides. First, obviously KeeN will be the one who's a bit more pressured into actually dealing some damage because his CC will come up later, but he'll also get his, his tech structures up earlier. He'll also be able to build into Banshees or so earlier, and he will have more potential to actually do damage anyways. So we'll see if Ryung can defend. We'll see if KeeN can find himself the damage he needs to get ahead in this. So far, both these players have been doing pretty well from what we've seen. KeeN tied up with Hearthstone. Ryung won against Hearthstone. Ryung won against Games. I think Ryung in general has just been kind of bashing his way through the series so far today, without really too many surprises. Reactor comes down over on the barracks. So Reactor comes on down and just continue to set up into this to see how it will keep on developing. Sorry, tech lab on the barracks. My bad. Apologies. Two Reapers in the Cyclone joined up together. I'm going to get ready to go across towards the upper left-hand side of the map now. Look to see what they can do, look to see what they can get up to. Cycle on the way out from KeeN. I mean, it's the same thing for Ryung on the other side of the map, though. And again, Ryung playing the defensive game. So far, KeeN hasn't done much to really pressure him or anything. Banshee on the way up, but no cloak yet. I mean, KeeN at some point has to do something to make up for what is still a CC that hasn't even begun to build. Now, at the same time, what else could KeeN do? He could go into a very fast third CC, as well as a follow-up to the natural. He could go into a third command center very quickly, and that is one way to apply some pressure in a very indirect way, in the sense that you're basically taking your third base super fast, and so you're making up for the natural being slower. And, okay, yes, it doesn't apply pressure, but it puts pressure on your opponent's economy in a way, because you're like, well, make sure you're in check. Obviously, the idea is, though, that you're more sort of playing catch-up than anything else. Reaper moves down the ramp and just having a peek around to see what's up and see what's happening. A little bit of a grenade cluster there, and it is kind of generally KeeN. Just coming out on the worst end of this. This Cyclone's going to try and turn away, but it is just going to get chased down. Cyclone dies. I like the fact that he turned away and went up this direction. Yeah, I do like that, actually, because it means that he actually kept this Cyclone and this Reaper away from the rest of those units, and I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind there, as we see. Command centers coming up on either side of the map now, then into the main bases. So both will take their third base at the same time. This Cloakless Banshee comes in, and it's Cloakless, so it wasn't a massive commitment, but it is just going to go down. And well, I guess, I mean, KeeN does take a free worker lead, so it isn't that bad for him. But you got to remember as well, he's still without an orbital on the natural. He has been behind that mule all the time here, so it has still been Ryung favored in that sense. Just to see what the next stage of it is then from both. I mean, obviously in the TvT, once you got the free CCs up, you generally build up into those extra racks, and that's when the game becomes very technical and very masterful of how you move around the map, how you hold map control, how you look to attack, etc., and how you create opportunities for yourself too. So I'm intrigued to see what can be done here between the two players, as for now it'll just be another minute or two of that sort of build-up phase where upgrades are going to be starting, the racks will start building. It'll just be a little while until we're at realistically decent number of Marines to actually be attacking, and also with kind of Stimpak, etc. upgraded as well. That's what you really need to make those sort of units work. Both players are going to be playing Bio +1 already started from Ryung with a second engineering bay on the way up. You won't be too far behind the +1 armor. And obviously at the same time, KeeN, if he starts his upgrades right away, it's also not going to be too far behind on the +1 attack, although he doesn't have that much gas. Might be a little bit late on it, so there's going to be small advantages here and there in terms of upgrades. And it could be, if if a fight takes 20 seconds, but you're behind an upgrade for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, it's the opening your opponent may just need to take the advantage in fights, take the advantage in the game in general. Reaper tries to be brave and fights those Cyclones, but obviously doesn't turn out too well for him. And the Cyclones continue to come through the center of the map now. A couple more coming up into the middle in a moment or two. The Marine just getting picked off, and again looking at potential trades here as we do see Stim. So just coming on through. KeeN is just about halfway done with that now. So these couple of Cyclones just going to pull all the way back in towards the natural expansion. I mean, again, for now, it's kind of about who can take the third base first, I guess, in some extent. And that's something which Ryung is already doing, flying his over into location and muling in that location. KeeN's third base is not far away from being able to kind of move down here, but he's just a little bit afraid. And right now, I mean, what can he be afraid of? I guess the triple Cyclone threat, but even that isn't too scary when he's got so many tanks up. He's just being a little bit kind of lackluster when it comes to actually players in that third CC. Hopefully something he gets figured out in the next few moments. Sup, Andy man? Thank you very much for the cheer 50 × 2 in the chat. Good morning, Wardy chat. And it says, might as well read up the Wardy boss. I actually don't know what's going on. The bit boss keeps resetting every time I change scenes right now. It's kind of silly, so... Because we did have a big cheer earlier today already, so I don't know what's happened with the bit boss. It's a bit weird. It's been a bit messed up. I might have to reset a few things on it. Some bits and pieces. Have to figure that out. Marine's going to load up. It's going to be some drop plays. You see tanks and Marines moving into the center. They'll run right into these Cyclones, and one Cyclone of KeeN will go down. Single Marine actually spots the double medevac, so KeeN sees the drop coming into play. Doesn't seem worried about it. Maybe he didn't actually notice it, because right now there's no reaction at all. Unit still just sat on the natural. He's still just mid-mapped the rest of his units. And this double drop in now here from Ryung. It could begin to be a little bit deadly. 2 medevacs against no medevac. Stim on either side. He wants to try and target down the combat shield upgrade, but he's taking a lot of damage in the process, and he isn't really getting enough done. And it feels as though Ryung tried to do something there, but it just didn't work out. And now, well, Ryung is actually going to take a good fight, though, because KeeN just runs into a fight he cannot win. Siege tanks, Cyclones as well, and those tanks just got decimated. KeeN, some mistakes around the map at the moment, and it's allowing Ryung to, again, just get further ahead, even if it wasn't the best to drop some, even if he didn't target as he maybe should have done. Hindsight is everything sometimes, but in this case, it's still okay, because he's still been trading well just on the top side, and in general it feels as though Ryung is the kind of controller of this game right now. Tanks dropping and being picked up as they micro around. How many Marines are left in here still? Just 5 Marines? Yeah. 5 Marines left as we see a push coming through the center. Cyclones, Marines, and tanks going to push on through to see what they can get up to. So they're looking to see what they can achieve here in the next few moments. Going forwards, another Marine gets picked off right there. So another Marine goes down. 2 upgrades. So on the way up from either players, we're going to see those Marines from Ryung continue to fight, continue to play. Siege tanks continue to fire as well. A couple more Marines come in to push Ryung back into the corner now. Ryung taking the map control at the moment. We see a few Marines going to sim forwards. Nice pick up on the low health tank. Does lose another tank though. It's a nice little play from KeeN in the end, who just actually end up getting a siege tank kill. So KeeN again, I mean, while Ryung has been the aggressor, he's looking for position. KeeN's not afraid to kind of move forwards when he feels there's a possible opportunity for himself. Tanks, a couple of them are a little bit low to siege though, or a little bit late to siege I should say, not low. And it is kind of creating good opportunities for Ryung. He picks up 2 of the tanks here already. He'll reposition 1 tank now. And now he's going to start forcing his opening into the third base. Another tank pushing forwards, trying to siege up, but the reality is there's just not much over here to defend at all for KeeN. I mean, he moves another tank forwards, but it's already in siege tank fire, gets picked off almost instantly. And there's just so many Marines. Ryung does not have any issue at all. It's completely decimating the third base here. GG. So it's not... not easy to multitask like this. My head just isn't with it exactly today either, which is making it even worse if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Alright, let's do this. To the top left hand side is gonna be our green Terran player. It is KeeN, and he is down again currently in the best of 2, playing against the blue Terran player. To the bottom right hand side of the map, it is Ryung. So Ryung run up and intrigued to see what exactly the plan is from here. Again, thank you Andy Man for the cheer in the last game, the cheer 100. Do you appreciate, mate? For now, the Andy Man boss is standing strong, but again, it has been a little bit buggy lately, so I'm not too sure how long it might be boss for. Anyways, yeah, again, what's up? How we doing? Coupon code still worked. Alright then, guys, if you haven't used the coupon code already, do get on over to the Match Arena page. We're literally letting free money just sit there and not be used. Exclamation mark Matcher in the chat. It takes about 15-20 seconds to use the coupon code. The coupon code is MC100, and it's super simple to log in and all the rest of it. Like, it really could not be simpler. So definitely, definitely make sure to go use that. And again, it takes like a few seconds. You're adding to the prize pool without costing yourself anything. It's super supportive of the event, and it does go a long way to allowing more of these events to happen again in the future, of course. So do go check that out if you've got a few seconds on your hands. Factory on the way up from both players here. This time it's not going to be a fast expand from either. We've seen Ryung going to change it up with a little bit of aggression of his own this time around. So Ryung changing things up here just slightly. Again, moving away from the CC expansion base play is obviously a big change, but he'll still sort of, it's kind of weird in TV because he's still sort of set up in the same sort of way. It's just your kind of actual eco is a bit later, and it creates some weird sort of situations. We see these Reapers going to fight it out. I think they're going to disengage, though. I don't think they want to take the risk. And they do not want to take the risk, and Ryung. Oh, especially now, Ryung doesn't want to fight that. 2 Reapers come out from KeeN. Second Reaper coming across from Ryung, though. If you look at the production tab, there are differences. No, there's not, actually. Cyclone's about to finish up from both. Tech Lab build on the backs, and Starport's built on 2. Was there a Hellion out of Ryung already? There was not, but there is this Hellion of KeeN, which has moved through. And this means that Ryung already has a Cyclone out, and he picks off that Hellion no problem at all. So, investment into the Hellion from KeeN wasn't really worthwhile. Didn't get anything out of it just yet. Doesn't mean that there's not a possibility to still get something, though, as we're going to be seeing now. The Rivers starting to trade and fight again. Some little bits and pieces going down. I mean, obviously, nothing too spectacular as we're going to see. Wow, Ryung obviously feels very confident. Builds his CC on the low ground, and will actually get away with his SCV staying alive for the moment. Meanwhile, KeeN builds his CC on the high ground, maybe a little bit more kind of worried about what's happening in the game, and so on as Ryung, even getting an SCV kill, something KeeN was not able to get done with this Reapers at any sort of point so far, I feel. Yeah, KeeN hasn't killed anything, he's just lost an SCV and a Hellion. Ryung has been, again, just taking the smaller advantages so far, taking the little bits here and the little bits there, which do just add up over time. Not really best of 2, it's round 1 with each match being 2 games. Yeah, but when, you know, they play 2 games and it's the best out of 2 games, like, I don't know. Like, we've had this argument so much. Best of 2 is literally just the nomenclature. There's like the name, there's the way they name it in all other esports that use best of 2s. So, best of 2 it is. Best of 2 it is. So we set up here. Just waiting to see what the next stage is going to be. Raven will come into the back, and we'll actually drop an order to it. We'll get 1 SCV at least, and we'll get 2, a little bit of a slow pull away. 3 and 4. Wow, nice damage done here by KeeN. Raven finally finding a bit of opportunity. However, at the same time, his Reapers at the front don't get very far. expansion across the map from Ryung tries to get some damage done, but was it comparable? He actually got 6 workers, so 6 workers to 4. And again, it's Ryung who's coming out just one rung ahead on the ladder every single time right now. They try and race up it. Ryung just finding damage after damage, and I mean, finally KeeN gets some sort of an opening, but it's just nullified instantly by the damage that Ryung was done across the map. Anyways, that's nice. 2 SCVs and a fresh mule though, and that is KeeN now all of a sudden doing a little bit more. That's the sort of thing that will start to add up and could really start to set Ryung a little bit further behind. Impact on the way up already from KeeN. It's one thing he will have in his favor early in the game. It's actually a fairly interesting thing to have so much earlier than your opponent. It puts Ryung into kind of a more defensive setup in general, obviously. You don't have stim, then how can you actually fight on the map with Marines? Well, you can't. You gotta be much more reliant on siege tanks, etc. Does Ryung even want to go into stim though? 2 more gases already on the way up would be a bit more suggestive of mech. And so maybe we do see mech here on Abyssal Reef. It's a great map for it. We mentioned it before. It's a possibility to see this Raven in the main base too, just causing chaos. And again, pulling units out of position. All of a sudden, the low ground here for KeeN is 1 Raven and 2 Cyclones. And there is Ravens here as well from Ryung. And we're going to see a massive auto turrets going down to help this fight forwards. Raven do get shot down, or one of them does at least, but the Cyclone's still on the ground. 3 of them are going to be very powerful. You're going to start working their way through the mineral line here. Vikings landing to try and help out. SCVs pulling in as well. One more Marines joining the fray. This Raven did not really get the energy soon enough to throw down another auto turret. All said and done, it's going to be the it's going to be kind of an equal trade, I guess. Ryung still comes out about 5 workers ahead. Again, just kind of picking up a couple units here and there. He is going to go to stim, so he is going to play bio despite these extra gases. He just wanted to maintain reactive Viking and siege tank production. The SCV's just preparing up this Raven here, looking to see what's happening. And maybe I'll just get into again, like these sort of, I don't know, it's something about the game today. Sort of just feels as though it's like we have like sudden bursts of action into longer lulls. It's kind of felt like that all day. Maybe it's just my current state of mind as we're going to see Vikings do pick up on this Raven. Let's compare the unit compositions right now. 4 Vikings to the 1 is pretty much the one thing I want to compare. I guess not really composition, but air control, which is definitely in favor of Ryung, and that's something which will go a long way as the game continues. He is down to siege tank, but man, air control cannot be denied how important it is, and it could be one of the game-changing features of this. As we see once again, it's Ryung. He's pushing across the map. Siege tanks leading the charge. A couple of Cyclones behind him. 4 Vikings and the Raven coming up as well. The Marine, yeah, just trying to clean the pathway, trying to get deny information about what's coming across. This guy comes down though, and so KeeN not going to let himself be kind of. I'm not going to let Ryung hide himself away. As you're going to be seeing again, a scan on the natural, and once more, not very much in position here. As you're going to see double auto turret on that single siege tank, which is up in location, but it is going to be able to get rid of the auto turrets. It will be a good hold. An SCV surround goes a long way, as we do see him still fight away with the siege tanks. He doesn't quite get the kill though, and so it's KeeN that actually picks up a tank of his own. But if your SCV's going down, Ryung definitely staying ahead there. As we now see Vikings landing to pick up some tank kills. He gets 2 and finally backing away. Maybe he's finally happy with what he's achieved here. Tanks will relocate slightly. Actually, here come Vikings now from KeeN. It might be time for Ryung to start thinking twice about this. We're going to be seeing the tank on the low ground is actually in position again, so he does get another tank kill. A Viking wall going down as well, and is going the way, I think, just about of Ryung. It's very close. Ryung with so much money in the bank, if he could spend it, he would be skyrocketing ahead in supply right now. He would just be starting to go so quickly forwards. It'd be a little bit insane. So he needs to try and find a way to make that happen. Get those extra racks up and start using them, production in those to the fullest. So he's just gathered on the 3rd base again. 4th base from Ryung does start on up. So 4th base coming on through again. The one upgrade is just going to finish up now from Ryung. That is something he's behind, and 2-2's already started up for KeeN. So Ryung definitely trolling in that regard. I mean, he was later on the combat shields and stim as well, right? So not too much of a surprise, and that's sort of the price, I suppose, to some extent, of having built into air units, having built into those Vikings, investing all that gas, which your opponent is not investing in the same way. It's a little bit different. Lots of Marines being spread around the map. The map control from both is pretty comparable. It's actually an SCV here from Ryung. We'll get chased away. We'll survive. Fourth base on the way up, and just waiting to see what the next stage will be. Again, 2-2 coming through from KeeN at the moment. So he's setting up in towards that, again, a slight upgrade lead, and we'll see if he can make anything happen with it. Starting to push forwards already. A few Marines, a few tanks. Obviously have to be somewhat careful though. If you're not careful enough, then you do run into issues. Sneaking up here from the Ryung as well, still dealing some damage right now, as we are going to be seeing the scan again from KeeN just overhead. Just keeping an eye on what this army is looking like. A little bit of a drop down to the south side, or the left side I suppose, of the army of Ryung. It's not really sizable enough to have much of an impact, as Ryung already on siege and getting ready to re-siege where these tanks and Marines are starting to head to. But it's not going to be in time to really get any shots off. Viking Raven. Overhead, this tank going to siege up as well. Marines at the front trying to poke in, but not really going to find anything just right away. What's this happening? Viking Raven's still around. It's still, I mean right now, obviously KeeN wants to try and find a fight, as he's got a slight upgrade lead for a few seconds, straight into +3 as well, not skipping a beat. It's actually about a minute ahead on +3 attack. That's insane. It's a huge timing window for him to potentially utilize here. So we're going to be seeing the couple of tanks of KeeN sieged up in the center. He's on the right hand side, actually getting caught a little bit off guard. Ryung being cautious though, does not want to run into siege tank range. And same sort of story over here. So fight he can't win right now. He doesn't have the upgrades, and he's also being drawn into tank fire. Wants to avoid that. 2-2 finishes though now for Ryung, so he can at least think about taking the fights if he wants to. Question is, will he? If he does take them, how well will they go for him? I mean, upgrades now even for a little while. As he starts up 3-3, it will actually be Ryung who will eventually take the lead here. His +3 armor will be the one that will finish way before that of KeeN's. It's kind of interesting to see, KeeN is basically very slowly pushing into positions over here. We've seen a couple of auto go down. Doesn't slow down too much though. At the meantime, Ryung actually catches a lot of army over the left-hand side, so he takes a big win there. But is going to be taking some heavy damage towards his third base. SCVs will pull in and try and repair. Marines will stim in to try and push back, and the Vikings do get rid of a medevac. Everything going on right now, and again, it's Ryung across the map saying, well, you're so obsessed with my bases. What have you actually got at home to defend yourself, bro? And as he pushes in to try and deny this fifth base, you see there is a good amount of tanks. And, well, now we've got two very awkward situations on the map where Ryung is kind of sieged just outside the bases of KeeN. KeeN is sieged just outside the bases of Ryung, but is actually dealing a lot of damage and is really slowing things down here in terms of mining and kind of moving forwards. Marines actually push up this ramp, and the tank's loaded up or something? What was that for? Well, all of a sudden this is a very precarious situation now for KeeN, because Ryung is now in between the natural and the third base. So obviously he kind of has free will to do what he wants to some extent. I mean, there is medevacs to lift up and to relocate units like that, but it's not going to be the easiest, and there is a couple of tanks already relocating over the side. But I think Ryung sees this opportunity, gets rid of 1 and 2 tanks, and just continues to trade so well throughout all of this. As now, KeeN's army starting to dwindle slightly on this side now. +3 attack is finished, but there's just so many reinforcements just come in for Ryung. He will be able to push on through this, and he will make the cleanup happen. It wasn't cheap for him, but he makes it work. And now he's still in the aggressive position himself across the map. Third base will be able to re-land. He did lose the fourth though, and that's maybe Ryung's new issue. The fact he doesn't actually have any mining to really utilize here. Give himself in a good spot. As we see those tanks continue to fire. Marines coming up to help protect the siege tanks. Doing what they can here. Another volley hits right into the center there. And again, Ryung trading well. But again, over time, the economy of KeeN, the fact he has extra bases in general, is going to pull on through. However, will it ever be in time to actually stop this fight from happening? As we see this push up the ramp again. Tanks begin to fire, and we're actually going to see just a drop on top of the tanks now. Ryung with a cute little pickup mid-fight there, and he now drops on top of this tank. It falls, and Ryung continues to take a better and better position in a forward location here. Marines push forwards to get rid of the tank, just trying to siege on the low ground. KeeN just about hanging in, not giving this to Ryung so easily. Ryung now free upgrades against just plus free attack though, and that means that is going to start making the difference in his favor. For the longest of times here, it's all been about the upgrades of KeeN, and now as he loses 2 tanks simultaneously, it looks as though KeeN really is starting to fall apart here. Marines are on top of the production, the tanks are here to back them up, and there's no easy way for this to be cleaned up, as we're going to be seeing this tank here is going to get, well, taken down. He did pick up a tank or 2 of his opponents, so KeeN trying to do again whatever he can, wherever he can. He's just not finding enough damage. GG's. Ryung finds himself in the